Hello guys, and welcome back. Hopefully we won't have any audio issues this time because we're here for the live round 4 with green-white Amulet. We're currently 3-0, and if you haven't not been following up until this point, you ought to go check out match 1, where I explain the details of the deck list and all of that good stuff. But yeah, we're at 3-0, we're just trying to truck along here, so I will see you guys in the games. Alright, we have a match. Jump on in here and get this gameplay underway. Can we be on the play again? Every time I ask that, we're not on the play, but it looks like we managed to get the play this time anyways. Playing against Sleight of Hand 94. I have no clue what this means, but anyways, we'll definitely choose to play first. See that? The 9YA with the symbol over it, X. Never seen that before. And this hand is interesting. We can play a turn 2 Dryad into a turn 3... we can't quite turn 3 Symbiosis, but if we draw a Titan in our next couple draw steps, then we can cast that on turn 3. Otherwise, we have a turn 4 Symbiosis. It'll hopefully hit a Titan. I think we can't afford to mulligan this. Our opponent mulligans to 6. You tell me, guys, at home. Does Sleight of Hand 94 play Storm with that kind of name? Or I don't know if Ad Nauseam still plays Sleight of Hand, but there was a point in time when Ad Nauseam played Sleight. I'm not making any presumptions on the matchup based off of the name. We'll play our Amulet and pass it back. Okay. Azusa, you say? Well, that would let us cast Turn Temper Symbiosis this upcoming turn. That seems pretty good. We can also Azusa into Dryad this turn, so I think that's the line. We do see a Darkslick Shores from our opponent. That is interesting. Here we'll just pick up the Snow Forest here to make some headway on our mana, get a little bit of advanced progress there. And I guess we might as well play out the Forest and then the Sanctuary so that we can get our Dryad into play here. We'll pick up the Sanctuary, I suppose. And now we do have a Symbiosis this upcoming turn, so that's nice. The reason, of course, to play the Forest there first, and before playing either Field or Sanctuary, is that it doesn't give our opponent a trigger to respond to. So we can play Forest immediately into the Sanctuary or any other bounce land like a Growth Chamber, and they can only respond to the bounce trigger. So if they had a Dismember or something, they could have used it on the Azusa, but not before we'd already gotten our lands in play to cast this Dryad, so. And yeah, let's just go to town with Symbiosis. Our opponent played a tap Watery Grave, so they're not even representing interaction here, which is interesting to me. And we'll pick up the Forest here, I suppose. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's it. So there's no reason to expend another land drop here. Let's see if we can hit a Titan. No Titan. I guess we're just getting a Swole Dryad. And, yeah, let's just attack, I guess. Just a casual 5/7 Dryad. No big deal. No big deal at all. We'll hold our Gruul Turf in hand here in case we top deck a Valakut or a Talaria West. So we can keep triggering that thing repeatedly. As well as if we draw a differently named land, we can start triggering Feel the Dead. Lingering Souls is one I have not seen in a very long time. Alright, well, we're swinging out. They can trade with our Azusa if they... or, not trade, but they can sacrifice a Spirit to kill our Azusa if they want to. That doesn't really bother me. Excuse me, had to sneeze there. I'm just chumping the Dryad, huh? Sorry, I got a little bit of allergy stuff going on, so I'll have to do some editing to make sure that there's not a lot of interruptions for you, but I keep sniffing my nose and itching up here, so. Not playing the second Amulet here in order to play around some sort of instant speed discard spell. I don't know if our opponent would be playing anything like that, but the second Amulet doesn't do much in play anyways, so... Okay, well, now we have a backup bounce land, so... That's nice. So we'll just go ahead and get our Gruul Turf in play here. And swing out. Curious that our opponent did not flash back Lingering Souls here. Fatal Push, Snap Fatal Push would be pretty bad, as it would decimate our board here, but... Yeah. Yeah. That sucks. But at least we have a potential Field of Dead going here if we draw another differently named land, and we have plenty of threats to top deck into, so... Man, that was a beating. Now they flash back Souls. Alright, Titan off the top. Come on, one time. And also, not Summoner's Pact, because that plays into Drown the Lock. So no Summoner's Pact, no Eladamri's Call, just natural Primeval Titan. Let's go right now. Alright, cool. My, wizardry worked here. Do we play an Amulet first? I think perhaps we do. Yeah, let's try an Amulet here. And now we can play Sanctuary. This lets us continue to play around something like a Mana Leak or whatnot, but the second Amulet will let us deal the Transmute for a Dryad this turn. Oh, we were yielded. Whatever. We still get to play around Leak, so no big deal. That's 5 to get rid of our yields here. Don't let that get us. Leave the blue floating, I suppose. Yeah, mess this turn up in many different ways. But that's okay. So what we could have done was played the second Amulet, played Titan, gotten Talari West and Hanweir Battlements, played Selesnya Sanctuary to float a bunch of mana, and pick up the Talari West, transmute for Summoner's Pact, pack for Dryad, cast it, and then still be able to haste our Titan off of Hanweir. That would have been the best line there, I think, but it's whatever. It is A-okay. So against our slow and grindy opponent with their Lingering Souls and Snapcast Mages, we definitely want Relics. We probably want some number of Celestial Purges to deal with Ashiok. I don't know if they would play anything like Bitter Blossom, but if they do, it hits that as well. They also could be on Stoneblade of some sort, and in which case we might want Reclamation Sage, but I'm not 100% sold. We haven't seen anything like that, so maybe not on the Sage. And there's the question of whether or not we want our explosives in the board or in the main. In the main, we can transmute for it to blow up, say, an opponent's board with Stoneforge Mystics or say, Lingering Souls tokens. I don't know. I don't know if we care that terribly much about Lingering Souls. The only problem being that we can't really block them. I guess Grazer does block them, but I don't know. We'll bring in the explosives, I think. And as much as I said that Grazer does block their Souls tokens, I don't think it's particularly good in this matchup. Spinning a card for ramp is not really the best possible thing we could be doing here. We can trim one Summoner's Pact as well to play around Ashiok. We would still have one to transmute for if we needed to, and then we still have Eladamri's Call as well as additional tutors here, so that seems fine. Yep, we'll run it back like this. While the all lands Primeval Titan hand, huh? I don't think that we can keep this. I don't know, it's rough, because if we were to draw a Azusa or Dryad to play, or an Amulet to speed up our draw, we have a Bounce Land and a Crumbling Vestige as well. But if our opponent just plays a turn 3 Ashiok, then we kind of just lose. I think we have to mulligan. This hand is a bit better. Not by a whole lot, but it is a bit better. And we have the ability to potentially transmute a Tolaria West down the line, so that's nice. I'm really tempted to put this Valakut under, but if we draw a Dryad, that'll potentially detriment us. But we're also 2 lands away from that mattering anyway, so let's just do this. We'll lead on tap Tolaria West here, I would say. Might need to pull out the old handkerchief for a second. If I can get it out of my pocket, that is. I have been known to fail at much simpler things. A Titan off the top is pretty welcome. We'll play out our Tolaria West as previously suggested, and pass it back. We're all on the slow-going game here, so no big deal, no big deal. Oh, they Thought Scoured. I never noticed that. Okay, so I thought they had cast the Oct, and I was like, wait, how did a Liliana of the Veil get in the graveyard? Liliana's a good one to know about. I guess it makes sense, though. If your opponent's playing Lingering Souls in their Esper deck, you should probably assume they're playing Liliana of the Veil. But anyways, Thoughtseize has got a lot of work to do here. We have 2 different threats that attack on different axes, and an Azusa to speed up our draw into either of those threats. So they do take the Azusa. That's intriguing. Let's just top deck an Amulet and punch it. Celestial Purge that we can't even cast. Nice, nice. All right, let's get the Garenbrig out of the way, since we know our forest will never be entering tapped. It's not representing a negate or something, but I mean, they just saw our hand. They're not going to play around the 1 card we top decked and assume it was negate. They're just not going to do that. If they had something crazy like the 3-mana Thalia, that would still force our Garenbrig to enter tapped, so it's probably better to hold on to the forest here. Ooh, Monastery Mentor. That is not one I expected. That one does quite a bit here. Okay, well, I think we have no choice but to play Growth Chamber and plan to slam Karn this upcoming turn. So let's play the Relic. Let's go ahead and exile 1 card. I think we're probably just going to pop this turn anyways, but trying to decide. We can also play Growth Chamber and pick up the Tolaria West and plan to go that route, but I think if we play Growth Chamber in the Forest into Garenbrig, that lets us, lead Karn into Titan. There's another word for that, but I think that's going to be better, so let's just go ahead and pop the Relic now. Turn Timber Symbiosis, huh? Well, that lets us play Karn next turn without being exposed to a field or a Ghost Quarter. Rough. It also gives an additional threat. That's really weird. I think we still play the Growth Chamber here, as awkward as it is. Because this lets us Titan in 2 turns, whereas Turn Timber doesn't really, so... Yep. I'm sold on it. It's gonna be Growth Chamber. We're popping Relic not only just to cycle, by the way, but also to stop our opponent from playing a Delve threat. It's possible they have Tassiger or Gurmag Angler or something along those lines, so... I'm not really sure what our Karn is getting, since the onboard Monastery Mentor is likely to just answer our Karn. I guess it would have to be Sky Sovereign so that we could play it and kill the Mentor. Our opponent would have to double spell in response to save their Mentor, but I don't know. That's a wide vortex. Now I'm feeling silly for having brought in the engineered explosives, but we'll see. Our opponent's leaving up no answer to Karn unless they have a Spell Pierce or a Force of Negation in hand. I guess they know they can just swing and kill Karn anyways, though. So we have no choice but to play Karn here, I think. And I guess we're getting Sky Sovereign in case we need a threat to play before our Primeval Titan, depending on what our opponent does here. So it would be a lot nicer to get Engineered Explosives in this instance, but I mean, we could get Wormcoil Engine that lets us race Mentor potentially, but nah, let's just get Sky Sovereign. Could be wrong, but Wormcoil Engine can just get pathed or countered. If they don't counter our Sky Sovereign, then we immediately get value out of it, so. This upcoming turn, if we don't slam Titan and play Sky Sovereign instead, then the turn after we can play a land drop, perhaps a tapped Symbiosis, or Vesuva copying one of their lands, and play Titan and immediately get Feel the Dead online. Ugh, a second Mentor. Yeah, we weren't really prepared to deal with these guys. Titan could set up a way to transmute Telario for engineered explosives, and I think that's our only hope here. Yeah, I think our Titan is going to have to get a bounce land and something else. Oh, they did clock the Karn. Okay. So it's a good thing that we went for the route that let us cast Titan this turn and went ahead and played out the Growth Chamber. We'd probably just straight up lose if we hadn't done that. Now we got to figure out what we're getting with this Titan. We have a bounce land in hand, so we don't actually need to get a bounce land to pick up our Telario West. So we can get Feel the Dead and something else. We're not triggering Field at this point, though. I guess Field plus Kabira Crossroads is not the worst. And the next turn we can play Gruul Turf, float some mana, pick up explosives, pick up Telario West, and transmute it for explosives on 0. And blow it up, because we'll have the mana to do all of that if our opponent doesn't have a counterspell of some sort. Yeah, that's all we got for this turn. We'll see if it's enough to survive. If our opponent has any kind of counterspell, which I don't know if they would be playing based on the sort of mid-rangey build it looks like they have together here. But if they have a counterspell, then we're looking in pretty rough shape. But if they don't, then we might be fine. We can probably beat 2 onboard Mentors if our opponent is low on cards. Like, the ideal case is they just slam another Lingering Souls here, so. In fact, if they swing out, we can block and kill one of the Mentors, so. I don't know if this is going to be lethal or not. We'll just have to see. Definitely blocking a Mentor. That's 6, 10, 14. Looks like this is 1 short of lethal if they swing with everything that can attack. That's pretty lucky. And we get to get a Monastery Mentor out of play here. Nine, 13. No. This is definitely lethal. Yeah, this is definitely lethal. Let's not make our opponent stack all these triggers. All right, so Monastery Mentor. Do we want to have access to Path to Exile for that one? We may need it. But then again, we may not. It'll be dead if they don't have a Mentor. It's really awkward. We actually could sideboard out Karn the Great Creator and sideboard in the 2 paths and the Sky Sovereign, for example, or maybe the Worm Coil. Because if they have Mentors and Lingering Souls, they can make a board that can clock Karn pretty effectively. Yeah, I don't know. Let's bring in 2 paths. And we can board out... I think we board out the Karns. And just bring in all 3 paths. That way we have 3 answers to Mentor. And we're less soft to Mentor as well. I don't know if Worm Coil Engine is good against our opponent. It could be a trap. It might also be worth it, though. It checks Mentor a little bit, so maybe we try the Worm Coil. And we'll trim 1 Eladamri's Call here, I think. Alright, we are on the play. We have an Azusa, we have a Titan, we have an Amulet, and we have a Bounce Land and an Untapped Source. And we also have a backup Engineered Explosives, so... I dare say that's a keep. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to cast Golos this upcoming turn unless we draw a Grazer, which are not even in our deck. So, I guess if we draw a Dryad... No, that wouldn't let us do it either. Thoughtseize can't take our Bounce Land. That's the best piece of news. If they take our Azusa, then we'll have to top deck another land drop into a ramp piece. I think would be best. If we just top deck a Dryad, then we'd play it and keep our Bounce Land in hand, but we wouldn't be making a lot of progress, so we need to top deck a land here. Or a Titan. Okay. Well, we can play Explosives. We could do nothing. I don't know, that's rough. I guess the only decision now is if we can afford to miss a land drop here and just keep our Sanctuary in hand. I hate to say it, but I don't think that we can afford to do that. I think we just have to play it out. I don't think there's another way for us to go about this game, sadly. We'll just have to top deck another Bounce Land or something. Or a Vesuva. Really sucks, but we just can't get behind. This is going to be an odd game. I can already tell. Cavern. That's a pretty good one. Let's not show our opponent that we have that particular land drop. And we'll pass it back. No reason to deploy this Explosives. Suppose they could potentially Thoughtseize or Inquisition to take the Explosives away. But... By holding the Explosives in hand, we have the potential ability to play it on 3 and blow it up if our opponent just commits their turn to a Monastery Mentor, so maybe it's fine. Ashiok, you say? Well, that's another reason to hold Explosives, is because we can blow that one up if we hit a differently colored land source here. They milled themselves. Interesting. They milled over a Mentor. They do have Sleight of Hand in their deck. I was kind of wondering. Dryad is not terrible here. It lets us clock the Mentor at the... not the Mentor. The Ashiok at the very least, which is nice. I think that we don't play the Cavern of Souls here either. If we top deck a bounce land, we'll have 5, 7 mana, so we could play Golos and play into a 3-drop. We would have 6, 7, 8 mana. Golos into something else wouldn't really give us any additional opportunity to cast anything, so I think there's no issue in holding on to the Cavern here. Suppose if we lose our Dryad and top deck exactly Garenbrig, then this line will punish us, but that is assuming that we would want to jam a Titan into whatever our opponent's holding without getting the ETB trigger anyways, so... And our Dryad, down the line, will let us cast Explosives on 3 if we need to. Like, if our opponent just plays Monastery Mentor here, then I'm 100% jamming Explosives on 3. Liliana, huh? That one's kind of rough. Well, let's not top deck Garenbrig. I mean, actually, I'd still take a top deck Garenbrig. I don't think that would be the worst, but... Second Amulet, huh? Yeah. Well, now we're playing the Cavern, naming Giant. And we're playing this Amulet here, because if we top deck any ETB tap land, like a Valakut, this allows us to Titan this upcoming turn. And we can pitch the Summoner's Pact to the Lily discard. We don't have a great way to clock our opponent's Ashiok, sadly. We'd really just like another land color, a land of a different color, so we could play and blow Explosives on 3, because I don't really want to jam either of these guys with no search trigger into the Liliana minus. That just seems like a losing proposition. So, a Tolario West or a Valakut off the top would be fantastic. Or Bajuka Bog would do it as well. Snapcaster Mage. Ugh, no, the Thoughtseize is going to take our Explosives. I mean, on the bright side, we're not under any significant pressure, so we could still top deck, like, Celestial Purge on the Ashiok into untap Primeval Titan, and that would work. They do take our Explosives. Well, if we draw a land, we're definitely jamming Golos into our Lily minus over there, forcing our opponent to use it. We don't even get the chance. Yeah, things are looking really bad here. And sadly, we don't have a choice but to discard the second Primeval Titan here, because there are draws that we could have, like not Radiant Fountain. I guess Kabir Crossroads actually is better in the situation than Radiant Fountain. But like Garenbrig, for example, that would allow us to cast Golos, but not Primeval Titan. So we need to have both options to our availability here. They pitch an Inquisition. Makes sense. Makes sense. They should just keep minusing Ashiok. I liked when they were minusing Ashiok. Hungry Aboundments is another of those such land drops. So, here goes a Golos. And the pass back. Golos is not weak to Fatal Push, which is fantastic. Pretty please? Are they gonna counterspell us here? If they counter the Golos and then just make us discard a Titan with Lily uptick, then I don't think that we could win, but... Well... Oh, wait. Don't want to activate Golos. Can't do that. Okay, so... We now have one turn safe from the Lily minus. Ugh. Mentor 2? Come on. Give us a break. We need a top deck here. Something good. I mean, that cast Titan, so... And we're not losing it to the Liliana minus this time, so... We can still top deck exactly Celestial Purge to answer our opponent's Ashiok. Or they could just have an Aether Gust. I think we have to bottom the Titan. I think we need to top deck Purge into Titan, and for that reason, top decking a Titan immediately is just not going to do anything. So we have to bottom it. Alright guys, so Purge into Titan of some sort. Either Summoner's Pact, which I think we've already cast. Not cast, but already had this game, so... Yeah, it has to be Purge into actual, factual Primeval Titan. And we know that there's one on our graveyard and a one on the bottom of our deck, so... We could also, I suppose, use a Symbiosis. Ooh, this actually lets us answer our opponent's Liliana of the Veil. That's pretty useful. So now that Liliana is out of the picture, we just have to make certain that we can answer Ashiok and then try to resolve a Titan. So this has potential. This has potential. Got to answer this Liliana now. We can also top deck Valakut to deal with our opponent's Monastery Mentor. Ugh. Alright, well, looks like we can't answer our opponent's Liliana. They might feel obligated to -2 the Liliana to get rid of this Dryad anyways, but... I'm assuming this is an Aether Gust? A Snap Opting. That's weird. I bet on our last turn of this game, we're gonna top deck Path to Exile. Our opponent needs any spell here during their turn to be able to kill us. 2, 4, 6, 7, yeah, 8, 9. So any non-creature spell here just kills us. That is a non-creature spell. Alrighty. Well, that was a shame. Top deck Crumbling Vestige into Primeval Titan. That was not winning this match, so... Anyways, could not keep up the killing streak here, as you might say. Ended up playing against a grindy Esper deck with Monastery Mentor and Ashiok, and of course, I can understand why we would have a hard time against those cards, so... And discard spells. Definitely a recipe for success against the Amulet matchup, I would say. So, regardless, it was still an interesting match, and I enjoyed it. Hopefully, you at home enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it or learned something from this video, then leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm here every day of the week, except for Saturdays and Sundays, because a man's got to have his weekend, you know? But I'm here making this content for me and for you. And if you like what I do, then go ahead and show your support. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this video here. It's probably already been long enough. So I will see you guys for the last match of this league. This is Redface Menace, signing off.